Hi, it's Romy, Aries. Welcome to the channel. This is your August 2021 soul story. I hope it finds you well. This is a general reading if you're new to the channel, but hopefully the intuitive insights will just give you some heads up to the ways in which you might be able to navigate the next few weeks. So we're into Leo season, fellow fire sign, speaking your language, and we're opening up with the energy of the Wheel of Fortune. This is really right in alignment in terms of what the stars are communicating with us this month, Aries, because we have a whole series of trines with Uranus, this planet of unexpected surprise events, and we also have the second of the full moons in Aquarius, the blue moon, coming in on the 22nd of the month. So these series of Uranus trines, the first with Venus on the 2nd and 3rd of the month, then Mercury on the 19th and 20th, and finally at the same time as that full moon with Mars on the 21st, 22nd. What this means is that there's the opportunity for some really positive and very permanent change that can come about. And I think for you, Aries, there is an opportunity for these blessings to really come around in a way that helps you to integrate perhaps some of the changes of the eclipse season. And I think you're really going to start to see things in a new light. Your destiny was never defined by what wasn't working in your life. And I think more than ever, this month of August is giving you that beautiful moment where you can just pause and you can actually see how doors are just going to start to fly open and things are going to begin to show up in ways that you had never anticipated. You know, you're such a beautiful oracle, Aries. You have a powerful voice. There is such pureness in your heart. You have a complex mind and an incredibly sacred, evolving energy. And we want you to be in a position through the course of August in this energy to be able to say yes, to take advantage of those new opportunities as your consciousness is starting to expand, as the wisdom that is growing within you because of what you've been through is really starting to help you feel more confident. Now, judgment coming in following the Wheel of Fortune. Wow, some big major intersection points where big decisions will be made, and you're really going to start to feel that there is excuse me, a powerful trajectory shift happening for you. Now, one of the things that I think is going to be really important and quite a guiding light for you through the course of this month, Aries, is the way in which you are now, I feel, much more accepting of your intuition rather than requiring that kind of hardcore proof and evidence to back up what it is that you're feeling instinctively. There's something about the way that I see you moving through this month where you have much more sense of belief in yourself. And that's so important because I think it's going to put you in a position where not only are you able to take advantages of those opportunities and move quickly when they come in, but you're also really unafraid of what that might mean and the impact and the ripple effect of how it's going to start to bring changes in your life. And, you know, maybe even as little as, you know, last month or a few weeks ago, you might not have been quite ready to be able to kind of recognize or to accept or acknowledge something. And yet this month is just kind of, in some aspects, feeling like a bit of a clean slate. There is an aspect of relief and lightness, I feel, starting to come through. And as you kind of allow that sense of certainty and trust with what you're being guided towards doing, there's much more of an ability to just say, like, screw it, I'm just going to say yes, I'm just going to go for this, I'm just going to take it on and just allow myself to see where this might go, where this could go. Now, we have the new moon coming in the sign of Leo on the 8th of the month. At the same time, Lion's Gate portal is opening. Of course, that's where the sun and Sirius, the brightest star in the sky, align. This portal opens, and from a manifesting perspective, it's just wide open, and being in a position to be able to harness that power and to invite in that energy and help it to work with you at the same time as, you know, you having these energy guides that are bringing in some pretty fated events, then I think you're going to be quite surprised at how fast things perhaps start to shift for you in the month of August. Now, that's not to say that necessarily you're seeing the full outcomes of things, and what we have is a kind of you're literally juggling, aren't you, here with the Two of Pentacles? You're kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Like, you're aware everything's changing. You want to get on board that bus. You want to get moving. You want to say yes. You want to be a part of something that you can feel is shifting and changing. And yet there might be some loose ends and some aspects of your life that you're still having to deal with, or kind of figure out a solution for. Now, what I do like is if you have experienced in that first full moon in Aquarius, which was back in July 23rd, any kind of stirring up, any sort of fractious or difficult energy, the story is continuing really through the first part of August, but you're set to see a much more harmonious outcome, solution, revelations that can really support a little bit more expansion and balance, because that full moon is conjunct with Jupiter, and it really is wanting to deliver good, positive news for you. I think you are really weighing something up, but at the same time, it kind of feels like there's a sense of inevitability coming in some area of your life through the course of this month. Now, on the 2nd, Juno, the asteroid goddess, is moving direct in the sign of Sagittarius. She rules the 7th house of marriage and partnerships. And here what we're really seeking is a greater degree of personal freedom, and, you know, wanting to improve, wanting to steady, but also learn from the experiences that we might have had of late. And the Chariot, really a perfect depiction in some aspects for what she's trying to support you with, because it's like, how do I move forward? Understanding the differences that I have in these key relationships in my life. Now, it might not be spousal, this could just be important friendships, co-workers, people within your family or group dynamic, but there's an ability to say, I have to move forward, I have to allow this growth, and, you know, I'm not in charge of what's going on for you, nor can I really influence or affect, and if I'm too busy trying to do that, then I'm missing something for myself. So the answer isn't that you are supposed to be the answer for someone else. You're literally there to be a sounding board, perhaps a way shore, to hold space. And it's not about taking on anyone else's struggles, because you need your energy and you need your focus to be able to get you to this next level, this next part of your own story. And it was interesting because when I was like linking into your sign ahead of the reading, one of the things that came up really strong is this theme of jealousy. And so how is that going to play out for you through the course of this month? It may mean that some of the opportunities that are actually surfacing for you, or choices and decisions that you're about to make or about to make their way into your pathway, are going to create some ripple effects, and there may be some insecurity that gets triggered by people around you. And so I suppose the theme of how you're going to be addressing that, whilst still celebrating, appreciating yourself, and being able to give yourself permission to move forward and not be manipulated or sort of guilt-tripped into sort of holding back or suppressing or not wanting to celebrate, is going to be really important. Now, on the flip side, you yourself may feel a little bit triggered by way of some of this jealousy through the course of August. And if that comes up for you, then perhaps again it's an invitation for us, you know, by way of information, to think about where are your insecurities or fears or the stories that you've been perpetuating, or perhaps some voids that have been existing within you that are now coming to the surface to be dealt with. You know, where are they coming up for healing? So can we not try to force ourselves to just get over it, but rather can we sort of lean into it and discover what it has to show us? And it might be the difference between really being able to take something forward to the next level, whether it be professionally, personally, romantically for you. So just be aware of that. Now, of course, Leo season is 5th house energy, which is about play. You know, it's about desire, it's about pleasure, it's that heart chakra energy. And of course, it can link into what are we doing to celebrate and to honour and to nurture and cultivate that part of our life. Now, your 8 of Cups suggests that there is something that you have either already left behind or you are about to. And I think it's because you just literally have felt it's been too heavy to hold, Aries. You know, there's just something about the way that the energy is calling to you and talking to you through the course of August, that you're just like, I've just got to do this, I've just got to go, I've just got to release and surrender. And, you know, part of that I want to say self-respect, you know, of just being able to kind of really acknowledge this is what I need is really important. Now, of course, beneath judgment, it does indicate that, you know, there is going to be that decision that's fundamentally perhaps going to change a certain direction for you, or there's something that you're going to release or walk away from, okay? The movement here, I think, is really important, though, because this is a month that if you have felt any sense of stagnancy in any area of your life, you know, rather than be on repeat, this is a time that we're repairing. And so sometimes part of that need to repair is the acknowledgement of what needs to go, or kind of where we've outgrown or evolved past something, okay? Remember, you're having so many kind of upgrades, energetic and powerful upgrades at the moment, that there has to be a moment in time where you sit in deep reflection and say, wow, like I've really changed. And so what does that mean for me? What does it mean about how I now feel about these parts of my life? And, you know, Mercury moves into Virgo, which it's the natural ruler of, on the 11th of the month. And, you know, here our communication starts to become a lot more considered. We're careful. We're much more noticing of the details. And there's a little bit more of a scrutiny and a critical eye that we want to kind of cast over things. And I think you need to. It's, you know, it's an important part of this process to get you where you want to go. Remember what we said, your destiny isn't defined by what isn't working. So there's going to be a recognition, perhaps in the moments through Leo season particularly, where you actually give yourself some permission to just kind of switch off, because in that restorative time where you know, look to the things that actually feel a little bit more playful and fun and uplifting for you, some of the answers can start to drop in about things that feel a little bit more important by way of practical aspects of your life, and then you'll be ready to deal with them. Now, your Nine of Pentacles here does suggest that whatever it is that you have to release or walk away from is actually freeing up space for you to be able to accumulate, to achieve, and to aspire to a lot more. And even if you have kind of been through a situation where even from a financial perspective things have been really tight, what we're looking at is the opportunity to also start to almost let that go, draw a line in the sand and say, okay, my deservedness has never been in doubt, it's never been in question, but I have to show up and be an active participant. I have to invest in what it is that I want. And Leo energy especially really wants us to have those big goals with soul, doesn't it? And especially in the first part of the month, Mercury still in Leo gives you that beautiful charm, that charisma, and that aspect of being able to really captivate an audience. And so I also have a sense of something being quite viral, and you not needing almost to put too much effort into something before you can actually see big rewards from it. So, you know, whatever it is that you might be seeking, fifth house energy, maybe it's new romance, you know, if it is anything to do with creative projects, maybe anything connected with children, planning, or the process that's going to be involved in moving any of these things forward, is set to have some kind of amplification energy. Remember, Uranus in the sign of Taurus right now kind of grounds things in, and Uranus is going to be going retrograde on the 19th of the month. And so with that, there is an opportunity for us to kind of consider and review where this sort of revolutionary, liberating energy has been showing up for us, and what we've been valuing within the self, and really come into a place of being able to master that. Your Knight of Swords, actually, I really like the energy of that for you this month. The reason is because I just see you exceptionally focused. So as we come into Virgo season and that full moon hits, and there's something coming in that's kind of boosting you and giving you a sense of courage and confidence, but at the same time you're not questioning. It's not like you're sat there waiting and saying, well, show me, prove to me, validate it for me, convince me. You're just going, you know what, I'm just going, like, because I can't stay here. There's like too much energy, there's too much of a sense of needing to be at the right place at the right time. And so that Wheel of Fortune's coming in, and you're just going, okay, this is my time, like this has shown up, and I'm not going to question it, I'm just going to accept it. And so he's a powerful messenger for you through the course of this month. And of course that air energy blended with your fire can really light something up, and it can make things happen quickly. Again, you've got Chariot, Knight of Swords, Wheel of Fortune. These are fast energy guides that are going to be working on your behalf through the course of this month. Now, remember, sometimes when things come in suddenly, it can almost kind of cause a little bit of a shock to the system. It's a bit of a jolt of awakening. And of course, we've got some of those troublesome, problematic aspects astrologically playing out through the course of this month. So we never get off scot-free. You know, we're still invited to kind of have to acknowledge and deal with things. But what we're seeing with your Two of Pentacles, and I really like that for you, and even with Temperance, is that your ability to balance out your energy and to be able to cope and not be completely derailed by anything that comes in that you weren't anticipating and that might feel a little bit fractious or, you know, trigger you a little bit, is going to be really sound. Now, I also have this sense that there's like apologies kind of floating around you as well. Now, it may be that you feel the need to apologise or someone wants to apologise to you. I think it's going to be an interesting evaluation as to whether that apology, if it's coming towards you, has come from a place of someone needing just to give themselves that sense of self-approval, or if actually it's really meant and coming from a place of acknowledgement of the experience that you've been through. And equally, you know, if you yourself are feeling the need to do that, let's just question, where is it coming from? What do you think you're going to gain from it? Is it really about understanding, you know, what that person has gone through or experienced? There's something in and around that that's also surfacing. But these are bringing about big shifts. And remember, I talk about this energy of repair or repeat. And we know that you're in a place where you're evolving too quickly, and that the events of this month, they are very rare, and so there's like a rare opportunity for you to do something different, to be someone different, to experience something different. And Temperance is wanting to kind of, I suppose, balance out the energy all around you. We don't want to be going like to the extremes in anything, and so the more you can kind of try to temper either your words or anything that you're trying to get involved or participate in, don't go like burning yourself out. Of course, it's a very Aryan thing, isn't it? You just kind of want to do everything, and you have that beautiful, impulsive, impatient energy that's a fantastic fire starter and initiator, and the spark that so often people really need who are in and around your life, for them to feel galvanized in their own energy. But there is something about just being aware of kind of not pushing yourself too much, because I think there's going to be enough energy that's coming in and making so many changes through the course of this month that if you are kind of taking that and then trying to leap even 10 floors higher, I think that there's that kind of capacity to sort of just disconnect from your centeredness a little bit. And, you know, it's not that it's non-recoverable, but at the same time, what we really want to do is kind of have like continuous steady trajectory of change and expansion and growth for you. Yeah, so what we're seeing as well is this aspect of divine patience, which is interesting, because I think things are going to be happening really quickly, but it might be not in the areas that you'd expected, and the one thing that you wanted to move feels a little stagnant. And so it could be like, well, that's great, thanks very much for all that over there, but what about this? What about, you know, my relationship here? Or what about money coming in faster, or the opportunity to start like traveling again, or, you know, my family, you know? So wherever that part of your pathway that feels like it's kind of not in alignment in terms of everything else, and it could just be really obvious to you through the course of this month, it's like everything is getting moving except this one thing. But that one thing, there's something about the divine order of it. And so there are reasons that it's not come together right at this moment. Perhaps you just need more energy to be able to get to a certain point with something else before that's going to be able to slot in. So try not to get yourself too frustrated if that's going to be your experience. Now, Temperance, of course, links into the sign of Sagittarius. And so we do have Juno going direct in Sagittarius, wanting to give us a sense of deeper personal freedom within relationships. But I also want to say to you that perhaps be aware that we might be on a timeline that takes us up to Sagittarius season toward the end of November. Now that might feel like, oh my goodness, like that long to wait, but at the same time, there is constant motion and movement, and the way that you are changing and your capacity to be able to receive. Now hear me, your capacity to be able to receive is growing at such a rapid rate that by the time this one thing that you really want actually comes to you, you are beautifully poised to be able to say, yes. Yes, this is mine. Yes, I deserve this. Yes, I have manifested this, and I'm going to absolutely enjoy it. I'm not going to sabotage it. So there's something important to be mindful about in regards to that. So your Page of Pentacles here coming in, I think there's interesting offers and invitations that are going to be on the table. And there's a quality of you here almost like wanting to show something to somebody. You know, it's kind of like, look what I've done, look what I've been able to achieve, like here. Careful that you're not seeking approval and validation. You just need to get on and do what you feel inspired to do, Aries, I think is important. And even in regards to relationships, just make sure that any goals that you're setting for yourself are for you. And of course, it might be that there's a beautiful byproduct that, you know, if you lose weight, then your partner, you know, and you might enjoy you know, a boost in your relationship, but it shouldn't be the driving reason. It shouldn't be because somebody has, you know, caused a kind of emotional response that's wounded you, because there's a very critical, scrutinizing, judgy energy that pervades through the second half of this month. And if we're not careful, we can find ourselves sort of feeling obligated or duty bound to have to change something because of what energy is being projected towards us. Now, it's fine if it's something that you already want to master and you really feel aligned with that outcome yourself and you're not taking any emotion from that. But if you are, and if it is perhaps coming maybe even from this place of jealousy, maybe from someone else's insecurity, or, you know, need to control, then, you know, it's not going to sit right for you and it's going to feel a little bit like a chink in the armor. So just make sure you're kind of questioning at a deeper level through the course of this month. Why am I doing this? Who am I doing it for? You have a tremendous charm that's following you through the course of this month, Aries, and I want you to use it wisely. You know, even in the Eight of Cups, like there's such a sort of a sense of like stoicness that you know you're holding as you sort of look out to the horizon and the light here. And we've also got the like almost the eclipse that's being shown, and it may be that through that eclipse season in May, June and July you had to walk away or say goodbye or shut the door, or there was a forced ending or closure for you in some regard. But everything else here is about the kind of reclaiming and the rebuilding of some aspect of your life, and that's you know, it's so liberating. It's essentially giving you that moment of rebirth. And so I want you to feel empowered by the journey that you've been on emotionally, even if it's left you in tatters, because you know what? Within you is this vessel of strength and past pain that you have transformed into power. You know, it holds that love and it holds the deep surrender that you had to give into in order to allow yourself to move forward in your life. And that's what's shaping you. This is how you've become this beautiful oracle right now. And I really want you to hear that so that you have the courage and the confidence to say yes to things that are showing up for you without giving it a second moment's doubt and wondering whether you're good enough or whether you can do it or what anyone else has to say about it. You know, it's a sacred month. And I want you to prepare, because bigger trajectory shifts that are going to be coming in over the next few weeks want you in the right place at the right time. And so anything that you're coming up by way of intuition, please listen to that, okay? So let's take a look and see how these oracle cards want to join the conversation. This is the Ark, 100 cards of oracle linking in with the tarot animal cards. So we have the Wolf, Knight of Pentacles, reputation, reliability, and results. You know, there's something about the consistency and the commitment, and I quite like the grounded quality that comes through with the energy of the Wolf for you this month, Aries, because you can make impact, but at the same time it's like you're just quietly getting on with things in the background. You can be the lone wolf, and at the same time you can also enjoy the community and that kind of pack mentality of being around people. But there's something about the blessings that are showing up and your ability to be able to integrate those changes that are really starting to deliver results for you. Anything you set your mind to this month, especially as we come into the second half, you're going to see results if you keep showing up. Remember, your deservedness isn't in doubt, but you have to show up and you have to invest in it. Now, of course, this earth energy that's linked in with Uranus and these series of trines are hoping to bring in a sense of permanent positive change. So news and information making its way to you, inviting you to do something with it, but at the same time, even if you chose to do nothing, it should still give a beautiful boost and some sense of something opening up for you really positively, okay? I do see that there might be some sharp exits of people from your life. You know, the Knight of Swords may also indicate possibly an air sign or somebody who has been very inconsistent. Well, you know what's interesting is you're powering forward here and they're going in a different direction. And I don't even think your paths are going to kind of cross again. So there's something about you just allowing that exit out of your life. And I think that's also going to be part of this quality of rebirth and just allowing something completely new to kind of begin or be initiated in your pathway. And again, that doesn't necessarily mean to say it's a romantic relationship. This just could be a connection of someone who just, you know, from a seasonal perspective now has sort of given everything that they need to in your pathway, or you to them, and it's time to just release that attachment. So you have the energy of the Rose Garden from the Oracle of Mystical Moments, and she's holding this beautiful butterfly here in symbolism of her own profound transformation. Of course, roses symbolize love, don't they? And I think it is because of the way that you have been able to start to direct a deeper sense of appreciation and self-love towards yourself. But there's also, I think, for some of you, this need, this desire, this opening up of your heart space to kind of invite in deeper connection, either with existing partners or starting to look for romance and kind of wanting something that feels more real, wanting something that perhaps has a little bit more of a sense of permanence to it. And, you know, there's almost like a hopeful expectation here that's coming in. And she feels kind of very pure in her intentions, but you can see her fingers also about to kind of touch what looks like the caterpillar here. And so there's just an awareness that maybe she's still in the process of transforming. And sometimes we can kind of put ourselves in that energy where we can say we're not ready yet. When I get to this point, you know, when I fix this area of my life, then I can go after that. Be careful of this, because there's so much energy that's moving in a state of flux right now, and people and just things that are coming in that want to bring about powerful change for you in a good way. And if you're kind of almost putting the brakes on and say, I'm not ready for that yet, come back in 3 months from now when, you know, my body will be transformed, or I'll have finished that project and I'll have more time, or the kids will be back at school and therefore I'll be able to kind of really commit to this. You know, you're just inadvertently kind of sabotaging and putting aspects of your life on hold. So just be mindful of where that might be showing up. Of course, that blue moon in Aquarius is giving beautiful opportunity to have, you know, gatherings with friendships, reunions, you know, new opportunities to connect online, and for things really exploding in that part of your world if you're working professionally or within the community in that aspect. Your crystal oracle card is rose quartz, which of course is linked into the energy of Venus. It's talking about empathy here. And we have this very soulful, very quiet, very healing, nurturing energy. I want you to be empathic and nurturing and compassionate to the self, and watch how that transforms and directs you as to the right connections or the right experiences to then give that energy to. Just make sure you're not filling, you know, someone else's beautiful inner well when you don't really have that to give the self. But at the same time, it's also this explosion of heart-based energy, and I think your relationship to desire and pleasure is under review. You know, how am I linking into that within my life, and what do I need to change or to cultivate to start to bring it back into the forefront or as a priority for me? You know, how do I truly feel about my physical body? Am I taking care of it? Am I loving on it? Do I celebrate it? Do I feel good in it? Because that helps me to feel more desire, more desirable, and also to enjoy the things and the activities that, you know, I want to get involved in, or the people I want to connect to. Aries, this is a general reading for August. If you'd like to join me for the extended, we talk for another 20 minutes or so. I'm going to invite you to just think about a question that might not have come out in the main part of the reading. and we'll cover that off. You can find the link in the description in the comment section underneath. It's just a way to support my channel. Very grateful for those of you that join me if the reading is resonating. Let's just clarify this main spread. So just beginning with the Wheel of Fortune, we have the Page of Wands, the spark of something new, exciting, news and information, King of Pentacles, and the Devil. May well be a Capricorn energy that's showing up or involved in this in some capacity, but also just something that might be happening work related for you. Now you've got your Ten of Pentacles with Judgment there. Perhaps there's a family situation going on, and I also think I want to say I'm almost like a rejuvenation of some of the structures that you have in place, especially 6th house energy. Remember, Virgo wants you to look at your routines and really start to make changes, and maybe that's going to impact the family quite strongly for some of you. The Creatrix, of course, is the energy of the Magician. This is the Dreamskeeper Tarot here. We've got the Moon and the Chariot. So there's a strong link coming in with Cancer here as well, perhaps for some of you. 10 of Cups there. A lot of heightened emotions. So, Queen of Wands. This is your energy, Aries. You are the one walking away, or that has walked away. 3 of Cups. We seem to have a sense of completion coming in for what has probably felt like a bit of a battle or a challenge. Remember what I said about that inner vessel where you transformed the pain into power? There we go. Oh, another 8 of Cups coming in. Interesting. Okay, 2 Cups with a Rose Garden. Beautiful. Aries, thank you so much for tuning in for your August soul story. If you're joining me for the extended, I'll see you there. And otherwise, I'm going to just wish you a beautiful month ahead. You take care.